I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
All right, I'm on my laptop today.
I know, you look so professional.
Thank you. I thought that worked out good the other day with the 80s ladies.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So I don't know if you could see, but I do not have a couch in the living room.
oh.
I'm getting a new couch tomorrow. So
That's great.
Danny brought in the patio furniture and had it set up as nicely as possible with so uh,
When's your new couch come?
tomorrow it's coming, and I gave the old one to Joni. It wasn't really old. It was just it didn't hold up as much as I would have liked it for me, but the kids love it. It was filled with down, and the down just didn't work out for me. I didn't know.
Yeah, I tell you what, we've been in this house since 2013, and I think we've been through 4 sofas.
Really? Okay, I don't feel so bad then.
No, it's ridiculous to try and find the right one that's not going to wear out. And there's a company here called Loaf,
Yeah.
LOAF. I love the way their stuff looks, but I have a feeling that it wouldn't hold up really well. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, you get sucked in. We bought like 2 or 3 different kinds online, and we've learned that you just have to go and you have to sit on it and you have to stretch out. You have to, you have to you got to give it the butt test.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
We are loving the fact that we've rearranged everything so that like the TV is on
Oh,
that wall,
yeah.
and it's not you don't have to crank your head to
Yep.
to watch it, so we can both be on that couch and watch TV. Right, we are just like so freaking thrilled with the way this room turned out.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah,
Like I said, you probably feel like you're in a totally different place, like it's a
it
brand new place.
it's been a nice little adjustment. Like everything feels a little moodier. you know the blue
Yeah.
was super happy, which was fine, but after a while that just gets on your nerves. Like
Mhm.
so bright. But yeah, this feels moody and grown up. I'm cracking up because Gemma's trying to be so quiet in the kitchen. Her mom got her for her birthday. This is the second time, right? This box of dirt. It's a box of
Oh.
dirt, and you put it in a dark place and you water it, follow the instructions, and all of a sudden you have organic mushrooms.
Oh. Oh,
So
that's
she was
interesting.
just harvesting today's crop of mushrooms. But let me tell you something, they are the best mushrooms you will ever have. It's like they're so white, there's not a spot on them, and they're huge, and they taste amazing. Like you don't have to cook them. You could just eat them, like just munch them. And
I was
there's
just going to ask you if they tasted better being.
oh, so much better. Yeah. And then we she'd gotten this other little tiny little tin of pea pods that we just kind of laughed at and never did anything with. And then we put some herbs up on the windowsill, and some plants and stuff, and I was like, maybe we should try and do the pea pods. So
Yeah.
we did that, and these things grew like huge. Like all of a sudden we had
Wow.
like this. Like every day I'd come down the stairs and I would look at it and I'd be like, oh my God, the pea pods are huge. So yeah, we have a harvest. We have an
Wow.
actual harvest. Yeah. Almost so, almost sustainable living here.
Do you get new mushrooms like once you like they keep coming in the little
Yeah.
box? She
Yep.
said? Nice.
Yep. and they're just amazing. It's like it's the weirdest thing to look at because they look like little white balloons,
Oh,
pop
wow.
up, and like you can see the next ones that are going to come through, and the next ones. So yeah, it's quite an experiment, but
That's cool. And where do you keep them in? You keep them inside or they're outside in the garden?
yeah, last time last time we got them, we didn't have Molly. So we put them in the downstairs bathroom because it's always dark in there,
Oh, right.
unless you turn on the light, to go in there. But so that was a great spot because it was cool and dark. Um, but now there's a water dish in that shower where Molly drinks. So, and she's so nosy. Absolutely. There was no way we could have gotten away with putting a box of mushrooms in there and not having her ravage it. So Gemma has now put them like upstairs in the guest room, but away from the windows on
Mhm,
a really
mhm.
high shelf. So yeah, so far so good. They're just like
Mushrooms have their own bedroom.
mushrooms have the entire guest room. Oh yeah, for a birthday gift, Gemma also got gluten-free pot brownies.
Oh,
So
nice.
had some of those on the weekend, and they were nice. They were a very relaxing little burst of a giggle here and there, but nothing like no nothing bad like the last time we tried to make them ourselves and lost 3 days and puked.
You
This was a
make
very
these? You
different.
didn't make these, you bought them.
We bought Yeah, we got these from a friend, and so they were really good. But I thought maybe they would help me get back into my sleep rhythm
Right,
because
right.
nothing is working. So
Oh,
and they're the tiniest little pieces, and you got to kind of experiment. You just have one, see how it hits, half an hour, 45 minutes, see how it, then you can have like another half and see how that goes. So it's taken a while to find our rhythm. So I had two brownie bites the other night and thought, okay, I did it at like 10:30 because I usually go to bed around midnight.
uh,
And like nothing. I got in bed. It still took me 2 hours to fall asleep. I'm like, what is happening? So then I upped my game and I did two
another brownie.
two brownies, and then I took two melanoma sleep gummies. So I'm like two brownies, not melanin. What are they called? Melatonin, melanoma.
Melatonin. I was going to say that's, I don't think that's the word. It's close. Close.
Melatonin,
Melatonin.
melatonin gummies. I'm like two brownies in, two melatonin things, and still taking me hours to fall asleep. And then I'm up 2 hours after I actually fall asleep. And then I get like 3 good hours,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really weird. And I wake up like exhausted and tired. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything. It takes me more, like, I feel like everything that I'm taking, like the brownies and the gummies and all that kind of stuff, and CBD. I was trying CBD, taking
Uh-huh.
all this stuff, and I feel like when I wake up, I feel like I have this massive hangover, but they didn't actually do what they were supposed to
You
do.
didn't have the good part.
Right.
The hangover part.
Yes. So in
God.
the morning, I'm like, my coffee. Like I can't get started. It
I
takes me
gotta
until
say,
11.
pot, it just never worked for me. It just, and I've tried it in very different ways, or not very different ways. The smoking pot thing,
Yeah.
and the joint, the
Yeah.
smoking, the joint, and
The smoking pot kind.
uh, the kind you smoke, and the kind, and the brownie, and the gummy, and like nothing. Like I want it to work. I
Yeah.
want to find something like but it doesn't. It's just I'm immune to it or
And you're
something.
always and you're always at that point where you're like, I feel like if I have one more, it's gonna
Right?
be too
Wait.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing it will do is eventually put me to sleep, but like
Yeah.
it.
That was the hope. So I was like, it's just, I think, it's just a very, I don't know, maybe I'm immune because I've had so much throughout my entire life.
Could be need a higher dose or something.
Yeah, so that was a bust, but they're really good. They're super fudgy and they're great. Like they taste amazing. They taste amazing.
Mhm.
But I think if we really want to get whacked, we probably got to go like three each.
Yeah, at least.
Then
That's
just
all
settle
it
in for it, like just
is. And just
settle
wait.
in for it. Yeah. Yeah.
Happen.
I want it like I was like, I think we should do three of them and then watch the last couple Ted Lassos. Like watch something funny. That
That
is
is,
right now my favorite show.
oh, okay.
Just so good. It's so, so good. I'm
That's a
so
great,
sad it's over now. Like, well, this is the last season, so these last episodes are the last of it, and it's just like, oh man.
I hate that. I'm going through that with A Million Little Things, which is on, I think it's NBC or ABC. I think it's ABC.
ABC, yeah,
It's been on for like, I think this would be the fourth season, and maybe it's five. Anyway, it's been on since before COVID, so it was 2018. So
yeah,
18, 19. Then they kind of took a break, and then it came back. Maybe it's the fifth, or maybe it's season six now. Anyway, there's one episode left, and it's next week, and I'm so sad. I'm like, I look forward to Wednesday nights because that's like my thing. Oh, a million
yeah.
little a reason to live tonight. And,
I have so many shows that I watch, and I feel awful saying it, because like and Gemma is so supportive of any kind of LGBTQ project.
mhm,
Any
mhm,
show, anything that has a gay character in it, like she's just down for it. And
mhm.
I watch stuff like NCIS and CLT and like nothing. There's never any gay stuff in anything that I watch. You just got tickets for Sophie B. Hawkins.
Yes,
I
because
saw she was coming, but you told me that you got tickets, and I was like, oh my God, it just like rang a bell because I think we had her on the lesbian lounge before.
did
And
you?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
that before she came out, or was she out in the 90s? I don't remember because I
It's
don't
in
remember.
2000,
Or was it in the 2000s?
2009, maybe we had her
Yeah.
on. And I think I don't know that we talked a lot about that. I think it was all about whatever she was putting out a record or something. Stop
Yeah.
it.
When was her like her big hit time? Was that in the 90s or that was in the
I
early
think so,
2000s?
yeah. I think
90s.
so. Go,
Yeah.
go, go.
Yeah, just got, and Melissa, of course, got tickets to see Melissa Etheridge in May. And yeah, and Madonna. I've never seen Madonna in concert. And she's,
Oh, I saw Madonna at the Orange Bowl a long time ago.
oh, my friends just texted last night and said, you want to go see Madonna? She's in Miami. I'm not crazy about going into Miami, but we're going in a group, so you can kind of make a fun time.
What venue at the basketball arena?
I don't know. They're getting the tickets, and they just said you want to see Madonna, and
It's got to
we're
be. It's got to be at
going.
the Heat. At the
So
Heat, right? I would think that's the biggest venue there.
probably. Oh, I know where you mean. Yeah, probably there. I would venture to say probably there.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I've got a few concerts, and Judy and I are playing at Finnegan's next Friday, a
Oh,
week.
how fun! Judy's back.
Yeah, Judy's back. Well, she'll be back in town on Sunday, so we'll have a week to like maybe put a little new show together, some new songs.
Cute. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. There's like a lot going on.
yeah, a lot
You
going on.
can you share with me how the kitten is?
Oh, the kitten
No.
didn't.
Oh,
I think although the good news is that there were two kittens that the mama had. I don't know if she had more than two, but there were two that were left on the Pally King property. And so Thad took the other one. He found the other one like a couple of days after the first one died. And
yeah.
they really tried with that kitten, but I think he thinks the mama left the kitten behind because the kitten was not healthy. You know how they instinctively know,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
so because he found it, they were trying to nurse it back to health, but it never really the eyes eventually opened. Her eyes, it was a little girl, a little
Oh.
female. Her eyes did eventually open, but she never was like a playful like a kitten. She just ate and kind of slept and didn't really move much.
Oh.
So she just passed away just while they were holding her. So at
Oh.
least they tried to show her some love and say,
Yeah.
but the mama comes around still. So we're trying to feed her, like to get her. I don't know if it's possible to get her, make her an office cat because I think she's probably feral.
Yeah.
I don't think you can easily do that, right? Like they're a little hard to.
No, yeah, usually try to do an indoor outdoor kind of thing.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
if you leave her out at night, and have the door open during the day and let her come in and eat and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
Probably
I
the
mean,
best
I
you can
feel
do.
badly because he took the baby and I know she came back for it the next day. And so you
Yeah.
feel bad, like, but he's like, what kind of a life could the kitten have in this neighborhood? That's Pompano in a
Yeah.
warehouse area. So
Industrial, yeah.
for the kitten, it's a much better life for the other kitten. That kitten's healthy. That kitten's doing great.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good.
but yeah, but I don't know about. I feel bad that the mama, probably came back and didn't find her
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
We're trying to be help her. She's like a baby herself.
Right. When I lived at the condo, there was an outdoor cat that was coming around, and she was so friendly. She used to like wind between my leg, like in and
Yeah,
out, figure eight. So I started buying like cheap cat food or whatever and putting it out
yeah,
there. And
yeah.
of course, everybody was mad because then like three more started coming around. But
Right, right.
that one was pregnant and she was, like you said, like so young,
Mhm.
like she was a baby herself.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
like I felt like she needed the food, like I
Oh,
would
yeah.
I would and one day I was sitting out there and I think I was talking on the phone and I was sitting outside and she was sitting like between my feet and I was talking on the phone. I was mindlessly like petting her. And you know how cats are when they hit a certain point and they're done.
Yes,
She
yes.
turned around and she snapped and she bit my hand. And I was like, holy crap,
Oh,
that hurt. Like I felt it. It was like right
oh my
between,
God.
like it
And
was
that's
right
a
there.
feral cat, and you don't
Yep.
know.
So now I'm like, oh my God. And I go inside and I'm like peroxide and hot water and soap and washing it and making like watching it. And as I'm watching it, it's getting bigger and bigger and
Oh
bigger.
no. Oh
And
no.
this was like around dinner time. So by like 10 o'clock at night, it was like someone had put a tennis ball under
No.
my skin. It was like that big. And
Oh
I'm like,
my
oh my
God.
God, I gotta go to the hospital. So I stopped by my aunt's condo, right? And this is probably, what year was this? Man, I want to say like maybe maybe 2007, 2008.
Oh
And
yeah.
because I was just kind of like ending things with Rena,
Uh-huh.
and so I was kind of like, on my own. And so I stopped by my aunt's condo and I said, hey, I gotta go to the emergency room. I got bit by that cat. And she was like, oh, Denise, I'll come with you. And I'm like, no, no, you don't have to. She's
Uh,
like 80, then she was probably like, well, yeah, like probably close to 80 then.
Oh wow.
Don't have to come with me. She was like, no, 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 I'll drive. And I'm like, hey. So we get in her 1978 red Cavalier.
Yeah. In 2007.
Yeah, yes. So we we drive to Coral Springs Hospital and I walk in, I'm not panicked at all. I walk in and I sign in and they're like, "Oh, you have to go see the triage nurse." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go see the triage nurse and she's like, "What are you here for?" And I'm like, "I got bit by a cat that you know, outside my condo." "Was it your cat?" "No." "Do you know the
Oh,
owner of the cat?" "No." All of a sudden, it was like bells and whistles went off. She starts grabbing manuals, right?
yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, well, you're gonna have to go, you know, um, have a seat. We'll be right with you." So I go,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they call me in, and they're like, I hate to inform you this, but we have to give you rabies shots." And I'm like, "Really?"
Oh no. Do they still do them in the stomach? Like
No,
the old way?
that's where they do them,
Oh God.
right in the wound.
No.
So my
Oh,
hand
worse.
is like this big. I had to get in one 10-minute period 13 shots.
No. How was that, like excruciating? Like how bad was it?
I think I was in shock, but the best part was like the nurse comes in and she's like, I regret to inform you that we have to do a series of rabies shots.
Oh my
We're gonna
God.
do 10 of them tonight.
Yeah.
And you're diabetes is out of control, so you'll need an insulin shot and you'll need a tetanus shot. I was
Oh
like, oh my God.
no, my
Like,
God. That
and
was a
kept
lot.
having, right? So Aunt Joanne goes, okay, okay, we know what we're dealing with. I'm
Oh,
right here. I'm not gonna leave you. And now
oh,
it's like 1 o'clock in the morning now, right?
I
And
think
I'm
she
like,
went with you.
you can go home. You don't have
Yeah.
to, she's like, no, no, no. I'm right here. I'm not gonna leave. Well, the nurse comes in and she's got all like 13 syringes lined up on a tray. And Aunt Joanne looked at the tray and she went, oh, Denise, I'll be outside. I can't watch. Bolted. She
I was
spied me.
gonna
She
say,
left me high and dry. Left me high and dry.
suddenly you were like, Auntie, stay,
Yep.
stay.
Nope. And she kept saying we should probably call your mother. And I was like, don't bother my mom at like, now it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
I've
my
had my
God.
shots. And they say we have to admit you and put you on an IV antibiotic drip.
Yeah, that's a serious thing. I was
Right?
gonna say when you first mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. Like I thought I was just gonna get some pills and go home, you
But you
know,
being a good Samaritan, trying to help the cat.
right? So wait, it gets worse. So now I'm in the hospital that I'm waiting to get admitted. Aunt Joanne calls my mother. It's like 2:30 in the morning. And like, mind you, I'd been talking like for a month about how much I love this little black kitty. We called her Oprah because she was so
Oh,
cute,
oh,
right?
I
She's
get
this
it. Yeah.
beautiful chocolate color. And so Aunt Joanne's on the phone with my mother and she goes, here, she wants to talk to you. She hands me the phone. I'm like, Mom, I gotta be admitted. I'm
Oh.
crying and everything. And what does my mother say? Denise, do you still love that little kitty? I was like, no, God. So anyway, I'm in the hospital for 2 days on an antibiotic drip, and the doctor tells me the next morning, if you have somebody that can maybe trap the cat and find out if it has rabies, if it
Oh,
doesn't have rabies, we don't have to do the next series of shots. And I'm like,
oh
the
no.
next
The
series?
next
He's like,
series.
yeah, we have to do 21 within like
Jeez.
a 48-hour period. And I'm like, oh my God. So I called Donna and I
Yeah.
called Rob, my friend Rob.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go trap that fucking cat and find out, take it to a
Now
vet.
it's the fucking cat.
Yeah, now it's a fucking cat. So Donna sends me a picture of Rob and he's got, they're in front of my condo. He's got, no, I'm not even joking, swimming goggles, oven mitts on his hands, salad tongs, and a pet carrier. And I'm like, what is happening? And Donna's like, she's giving me like a play by play on the phone. She's like, well, the cat's in the hedges and it doesn't want to come out. And he's very nervous since it bit you. And so he's got the pet carrier and he's trying to coax it into the carrier. And I'm like, go get a can of tuna, put it in the pet carrier and walk away. Okay.
Yeah, you're
So
just like simple, right?
yeah,
Let's just
so
simple.
that's what they do. And they get the cat and they take it to the vet.
Oh,
And the
they
cat
got
gets
it.
tested and she does not have rabies. So I don't have to get the rest of the shot.
Oh, wow.
And I get released on day 3 and I'm home working. So about 4 days into my, like I had to be off of work for like 2 weeks because my hand was like slowly starting to come down,
Oh,
especially after having IVs and everything.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So after about a week, I said to Donna, do you know where the vet that you took the cat to? And she was like, oh yeah, I have his card. And I said, let's call and see if maybe if she gave birth, I would like one of her kittens.
Aw.
So we call the vet and the vet said, oh, I'm sorry to tell you, all the kittens died because this cat wasn't old enough to be pregnant. She didn't have any instincts and she couldn't clean them out of their ambionic
Oh, oh
sacks
my
or whatever. So they
God.
died. And I was like, oh my God, what about the cat? Can I come and get the cat? And they're like, no, she died too after giving birth. Everybody
No.
died but me.
Oh,
Is that the most awful story?
oh my God.
No
Well, the
happy
happy
ending.
ending was you made it.
No
So,
happy ending except for the fact that I got 2 weeks off of work.
wow,
That
wow.
was
And
it.
you made it through, but wow,
Now
that's,
I'm extremely nervous about like petting any kind of outdoor
oh,
pet.
I don't blame you.
I hate it.
It's funny. Hey, did you see Sex in the City is coming back with the
I
next
saw the
season?
trailer.
I saw the trailer too. I'm excited.
We should mention that I think is it next week? Next week we have a musician there called Patterson,
Mhm,
I believe from Wales. I'm not quite sure,
mhm.
but does country
Oh,
music. Yeah.
oh,
Uh,
that'll be
and
fun.
then we have Nick Austin will be back, our queer news guy,
He'll be
and he
back.
has got a list of gay films that he's either
Oh,
watched or that
awesome.
he yeah. So he's going to talk about those. And I mean, we just have like a really good
Me
May,
too.
right?
Yeah.
We've got Rakefet Abergel, who I don't know if anybody knows, but she is a filmmaker. Um, and she makes short horror films, which is a
Oh,
very niche little
I was
pocket.
gonna say that's
Yeah, but she
uh,
just reached her crowdfunding goal, so they're on their way. She's got a new one that they're working on called Still, and I
oh,
believe that this kind of emerged from a she was in a really dark place because she had a miscarriage,
uh-huh.
and like I guess something just spurred her on to write this
Oh,
thing. So
yeah.
maybe it was cathartic in a way, but we will be talking to her. And then we've got Michelle Clooney from
Yay!
Queer as Folk.
I
Uh,
cannot believe it.
yeah,
I'm excited.
Melanie Marcus, attorney
Melanie
at
Marcus. I was
law.
trying to think of her last name. Yeah, Melanie
And
Marcus.
so she lives in LA. She's raising her son that she had with the director Brian Singer. Um, and his name, the little boy's name is Dashel, and he is just amazing. This kid, I follow her on Instagram. He's just like the coolest kid. He takes karate. He knows about like planets and politics, and I mean, she is raising such a little gentleman, and he's going to be so
Awesome.
culturally appropriated. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he's so politically correct. It's amazing. So yeah, we'll have a little chat with her. So yeah,
It's,
we've got a really good May, and then June is Pride Month.
yep. And Tyler's coming back at some point with another drink for us,
Tyler
another
back,
cocktail
long time, Tyler.
for him
Yeah,
to
we
see what.
did. We got away from the drinks, which is fine, but
Yeah.
it's always good to have him back because he's so adorable and he just knows his shit. And
Yes.
there's not
And
many
he's
people that know mixology the way Tyler does.
well, he's pretty much full-time mixology now. It's
Good.
like his thing now. So
You can tell
he's
that was his passion.
it's his passion. I really respect that. He's did the engineer thing and now he wants to be following his passion, which not too many people have the courage to do.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing really well in what you went to college, what you went to university for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe it's just because like there's no end in sight to something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it
Yeah.
started where we used to light a shot on fire. Remember?
Right.
And now they
Exactly.
have ones with like smoke and cotton candy and all kinds of like things made into ice. And it's like drinks that drip. There was one that I saw that had like a poof of cotton candy, but
Oh.
something in the drink would kind of like melt the cotton candy so that it would drip into the drink. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, where we're at with drinks. It's like, oh my God, they're literally
Wow.
works of art now.
Oh yeah, I mean, fresh produce. You go through you walk down the
Oh yeah,
streets
yeah,
downtown Savannah, and like they have these little like cool little bars, like boutique type bars, and they'll
yeah,
say fresh produce, which is not something you normally would think of in a bar, but
right.
they make these really cool, like they'll what do they call it? They'll pummel or plummet when they smash
Muddle,
it.
muddle.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the fruits and stuff, and then put that like that mash in
yeah.
the drink and stuff. So yeah. Um,
It's really cool.
now,
Did you watch the Carol Burnett special that was on, was it last night?
no, oh no, I didn't know about that. I
Yeah, it was
love
like
her.
it was the most watched thing on television last night, I think.
Wow, I gotta look for it. I
Yeah.
love.
Oh yeah, Carol Burnett was one of my favorites.
I saw something on Instagram. Now I know why. Now I know what it was. I saw like a reel or a little clip of that.
Yeah,
And and she looks great, Cal Burnett.
yeah,
She looks
she really
amazing.
does. She
I
really,
didn't know what it was. I thought that was a random thing with her. So now it was that show. It was part of
yeah,
that
that had to
show.
have been it. And you know
Yeah.
who I also follow on Instagram? Jacqueline Smith.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she still
She
looks good.
looks amazing.
Amazing, right?
Like,
Michelle Pfeiffer too.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. I
Male.
mean, talk about just growing old gracefully and not getting fillers and plumpers and all
Yes.
that kind of stuff, and they still like look so good. And follow Jacqueline Smith, and she had posted some pictures that her son just had a baby,
Oh.
and she posted pictures of the newborn, and I was like, oh my god, how precious! And she
Oh.
liked it. She hearted it.
Did. Oh my God.
Tell that to the '80s ladies, '80s TV ladies.
Yes. Donna Mills too. Speaking of the 80s,
Yeah,
she
she
looks
looks good. Yeah,
amazing.
it's crazy. It's amazing to me. But
Amazing.
we should talk about that. We were guests on the '80s TV ladies podcast the other night, and that was like we. I hope they edit the shit out of that because we
Me
talked for like
too.
2 hours.
Oh my God. Yes, I thought
Oh
this.
my god.
And that's why I asked her if it is it visual or audio. I don't know if you saw that because it was in an email. I
Mhm.
sent them an email thanking them for having us on the show, and I think when she replied, you were part of the reply, right? I think you might have seen that. So
Yeah,
that I just said, by the way, is it audio? Because their audio strictly audio, except for their Patreon
yeah,
uh, interviews.
right.
So I was glad though because I wasn't having a great hair day. So when she said that it's audio, even on the YouTube it's audio. I was
Yeah,
like, yes, I
yeah.
was happy it was audio.
I know they have a lot of bells and whistles. Like they're very professional.
Yes, totally
Like we're so casual compared to them. Like
cash.
they're very like highbrow. They've got producers, they've got editors,
Yeah.
they've got all this professional equipment. They speak like this. They are
Yeah, they have good. Yes,
very
you're
good
right.
speaking voices, right? And they
Middle
do
America.
seasons, like they do seasons and
Yeah,
episodes and all that. And they're very formatted, like which is interesting. Um,
yes.
so
I
yeah,
think.
we must have just blown them away, like the way we are.
Yeah,
Like we were just like blah, 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 9 different avenues going at all
approach
times. Yeah.
the
They asked
conversation.
like 2 questions and we spoke for 2 hours. But that
Well,
was fun. That was fun to have them
that's
on, but
fine.
it was also fun to be on theirs.
It was. That was the first time we guested on someone else's together.
Yeah. And this week I did a Google meetup, which I've never done before because we're such Zoom girls. I did a Google meetup with a woman from Novel Podcast, which is a British podcast platform over here. And they have different types of podcasts. They have scripted, they have one is so funny. It's called Lasties, and it's about that time from when you're in the pub and they do last call.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you have 15 minutes to drink your drink and get out. So it's about that 15-minute period.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. I love
Yeah.
that.
So I listened to one of those, and that was pretty funny. But they also have like editorial ones. They have just like a real eclectic mix of podcasts on there. And so this yeah, I guess like a assistant producer reached out to me and said that they had picked up on that CNN article and
Oh,
they wanted to do a story. So now by this time Gemma's like, done. Like not doing it. So I email her back and I'm like, look, you can have
wow.
all my time, but I'm afraid that Gemma's busy with work and she's got a work trip planned and she's not going to be available. So if you want to talk to me and use some of her quotes from the CNN article, that's great, but she's not going to be available. And they were like, no problem, no problem. So I had a Google meetup with this producer,
Uh-huh.
and she was asking a lot of questions about the early days of podcasting and
Oh,
what that
oh,
was like, and because nobody really knew what it was.
right. They called
You
it
know?
internet radio, I think, in the beginning, right?
It was internet radio, it was like talk radio, it was, yeah, and we streamed live, but
Right,
I don't think that we ever really grasped that we were going out to the world.
right, right,
Like, it
right,
always felt like it was broadcasting in your backyard,
right, right.
yet nobody in South Florida really listened. But,
I listened.
I know, no, I shouldn't say that. Like, people were getting it, and when
Oh yeah, yeah,
we started getting emails from different places around the world, it was, like, really mind-blowing,
yeah,
that we
yeah.
were reaching people, and so, she was asking if, like, what the purpose of the podcast was versus in reality what was happening, like, was it all coming together? And then the Gemma thing was a bonus, and I was like, yeah, yeah, kind of, and then we were talking a lot about that. So by the end of the thing, she goes, you know what, I'm going to pitch to my producer that we make this all about all about, you know being one of the first lesbian podcasts, to live stream,
Right,
and
right.
become a podcast, and to have like so much success in 10 years. And I was like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. So
So it switched. So
I
the topic switched then.
yeah, so it won't so much be about, a love story that happened through a podcast.
I
Um,
like
yeah,
story.
I know. But we'll let CNN have that. That was pretty cool. Like, that was CNN travel, and I don't really pay attention to that on television, but on Twitter I follow it. I follow CNN travel. But I noticed, because I'm so numb, I think, because I have the news on in the morning when I
Mhm.
get up, and then I start doing things and I just leave it on and I'm not paying attention.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
want to watch something, then I turn it off and put on what I want to watch. But I realized that all their commercials are CNN travel. Like,
Oh,
they'll do,
wow.
like, they'll show the Maldives, or they'll show Switzerland, or there's like 30 seconds of calm, and it's sponsored by
Yeah, yeah.
CNN travel. And I'm like, oh, that's what I did. That's what I signed up for. Like, I didn't put the two things together. But yeah, it's been a busy
Oh, yeah.
couple of
Especially
weeks.
traveling and everything before that. And then you came back and you had the
I
whole.
know. We had fun though we had fun at Pride.
Oh, yeah. Pride was great. Pride
Yeah,
was
that was fun. It seems like forever ago, but it wasn't. It was just the end of March.
just, that was about a month ago.
Yeah, it was. I will say, when I was there, the weather was freaking perfect
Oh, I
until
was going to say the weather was good. Yeah.
weather was good until the day that I had to be outside all day at Pride, and it was 90. Got a little sunburn, got a little sweaty, but no, it was really great to put, we've had so many people on, and this happened, like, when I did the lesbian lounge and we went on the suite cruise,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. When you meet
all
the
of a
people.
sudden you're meeting the people that you only just talked to, like, on the computer or on the phone. So that's what it felt like, being at Pride, meeting the G girls,
Oh,
and
yeah.
in person after having them all on the show, meeting
Girl.
Debbie from Same Apparel,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
her whole family. That was a bonus. That was sweet. Her daughters are adorable. Um, yeah, it was just a fun day of passing out bracelets, passing out your CDs, getting to hang out with Danny,
Oh,
getting to see
yeah.
Joni briefly for like 30 seconds. Yeah.
It
But
was
yeah, it was great.
it was a really good day.
Yeah,
So
the drag queens were phenomenal.
yeah, yeah. I missed some of them because I was getting ready for my set, but
Yeah, I know. You got to follow a tough act, man. When you have to follow a Taylor Dane drag queen, oh my God.
oh, that's a tough act. And when you have to share the dressing room with them, it's a tough act too.
But you did so good. You killed it. Like, everybody was listening. You
Thank
know,
you.
it didn't feel like the seats were empty, and it felt like not only were the seats filled, but all the vendors, like, when you looked out, like, everybody was looking at that stage, and they were either
Oh,
singing with you, or
wow.
like, I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you for, saying that and noticing. I don't always notice that stuff because, like, you're in your zone doing your
Oh yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It was fun, and we really got some great feedback, and I put a lot of thought into the song selection, and the guys, I should say we did, but at the end, I made some changes because I knew what the crowd was going like, and they don't really know the
Oh
crowd.
yeah, no, they wouldn't.
So I made some changes that really worked out well, and people liked the music selection. So I was really happy about that.
Because you played your disco song. Well, you
And then
played the dance track, didn't you?
version. Yes. And if I didn't have a keyboard player, I wouldn't have been as good. So I was so happy I got Eddie for that gig. And once I knew I had keys, I knew I could do the dance version of that song. I
That
was
was
super.
great. Yeah,
Thank.
that was such a surprise.
Yeah, I haven't played that. I never played that version live ever. That was the first time I ever played the live version of the
Well, if there
disco.
is ever a place to debut a dance song, it is at Prime. So that
Absolutely.
was fun. That was really fun. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a great day. And then we got to go out to dinner with the G girls um, that week, um, and
Brainstorm a little.
lay some groundwork down for some events and
Yep.
collaborations and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun. And of course, anytime I get to spend at home, with my
Oh, oh
family
yeah.
is a bonus. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
seafood. It was this was a seafood vacation. So
Ah,
I know you're not a big fan. But Hazel and I decided that we were gonna have seafood every place we went.
not hard to do down here.
I know. So
But I had, me of all people, who tries so much to be politically correct, I had a little bit of a, I don't know, like a moment, like I guess maybe I was not correct in this thing, but I'll tell you what happened, and you could look. I mean, I didn't mean anything bad by it, but
uh-oh. I feel a cringe moment coming.
hearing this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple on Instagram. I'm not going to say names or anything, but okay, there's a couple. They started out as two women, a lesbian couple, and they won like they got some title of the most interesting or popular lesbian couple on TikTok, I think it was, when they got engaged. So they're two nice looking women, makeup, hair, what, everything nice, nicely, very fashionable, nicely dressed always. So, so then, like 2 years into their marriage, I think it was 2 or 3 years, one of the women decides she's transgender, wants to be transitioned to a man.
Okay.
So she does this. So she does the top surgery and looks great. She was a personal trainer the whole time. So when she transitioned and she started taking testosterone, she really built up her upper body. So like she looks really good, has a beard, very neatly, like a very good looking man. And because they have this sense of fashion, he is now a fashion model for men. And so they look like a straight couple because the wife is very fashionable also in a female sense. So they
So
talk about
she's super feminine,
she's
and
super.
now he's presenting as a masculine male.
But I always wondered, did he do the bottom surgery? Because he never talked about that, right? So, but he talks about everything, his body odor, how it changed when he started taking testosterone, like a lot of personal things. There's a whole story section on the top surgery. So I didn't know, right? So he writes this one post about how happy he is being a trans man. Like, this is happiness, what happiness looks like. And so I write, did you have the bottom surgery? Not knowing that was kind of intrusive to ask that question. I didn't know that. Is that, I mean, because he was so
That
open,
makes sense.
bad, I guess. But so he didn't say anything. And then just two people wrote, man, dude, you're really rude asking a
Oh
question.
no.
I was like, look, I am a lesbian woman myself. I am an advocate for every part of the LGBTQ.
Letter of our community, right?
I would never want to be disrespectful or offensive. I did not mean to cross a line at all. I just thought because there was this whole section about the top surgery, and he's very open about everything else about what happened when he took testosterone. I thought that that was, oh, maybe it was okay to ask that question, but I never meant to be offensive. So I apologize if that's how that came off. And then they loved me. They liked the thing. I got the
Yeah.
heart and everything. And then he wrote to me and said, I understand you didn't have any malicious reason for asking that, even though I'm open about those other things. I don't want to share everything. And so but no hard feelings. Anyway, it all worked out good, and we are now friends.
And now
With
you and now you've learned a valuable lesson.
I learned a valuable lesson because I sincerely apologize.
It's a
But
tough topic, you know, it's a well,
yeah.
it's a tough approach. Like, you know, it's funny, I had a roommate that moved in as a lesbian and moved out as a trans man. So I was
Oh,
kind of privy to the whole process,
yes.
of
Yeah.
the journey, if you will. And it was, quite a journey, and it was 2, 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I think back now, I have no memory of that person's former life. Like, I
Wow.
only
Yeah.
know them, I feel like that part, you know what I mean? Like, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even this person,
And it's
like,
like never looking back. And I can't remember what it was like before.
I think that probably I could see where that would happen because when they're so, a lot of women transitioning into men now look really good.
Yeah.
You know, on one of my reality shows, there's a couple like that where the
Yeah.
woman,
I
the trans,
follow I follow quite a few on Instagram. I do.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah, it is. It really is. It's just like I said, it's kind of like one of those lessons we learned from watching Work in Progress, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, like
What
I
you can,
probably, learned more from that show.
that is,
Or as at least as much as I did in real life, but learned just as much, from that show. So
that is so
when we
true.
when we talk about like a lack of queer representation,
Yeah,
and there's a way of watching something and getting something from it, like literally
yes,
learning something as opposed to just having things shoved at you, you know.
exactly.
So yeah, I think the subtlety of Work in Progress helps you absorb and understand and learn and process, but
Yeah,
like when we talked about the new Queer as Folk, how it only had one season, I felt like because they were forcing every single thing
yeah,
down
right.
our throats, and maybe it was just too much crammed in.
Yeah.
There were like maybe a few too many characters,
It's a little all over the place
Yeah.
and a
So
little
yeah,
follow.
I think that's the difference between a quality program and something that gets greenlit and thrown up really quick.
Exactly,
For
exactly.
diversity check marks, I always say, for the diversity check marks.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that, I learned my lesson with this because there's a line, I guess, when it comes to that, because someone even said, can I ask you if you did anything to your face with plastic surgery to look more masculine? And he said he had fillers put in his face to look, but so I'm thinking, I didn't think that was such a bad thing to ask, but there's a line and now I know it. So,
Yeah.
but I think you have to, you learn as long as you're respectful when you ask a question of
Yeah.
someone who's open and honest and wants to share their journey. I
Yeah.
think people are okay with it, if you just, if you do ask the wrong question.
I know. I
Apologize.
feel like maybe in June we should spotlight some of our trans friends,
Yeah, yeah,
because
do that.
they're
Yeah.
having a really hard time right now. Did you see what happened in Montana?
No. What happened in Montana?
There is a trans woman in their, because I never know the levels of legislature, but in their local government, and so she made a speech about how they're trying to stop trans healthcare in Montana.
Oh,
And she said, if this goes through, every one of you will have blood on your hands because people will die. You
yeah.
and
Wow.
and none of them liked it, and they kicked her out and they censored her, and now she's not allowed back in for session.
Oh,
For the rest of the term, she's not allowed back in the session.
oh my God.
Yeah.
No,
She
not
can vote, but she can't be there on the floor and she can't speak on behalf and, debate
God.
or anything. How
How can you
awful.
do that?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
Like, not only their rights are under fire, their lives are under fire. They're just having a go. Like, I feel like the GOP and Republicans they've targeted them. They're having a go at them, and it's all like, let's make a big deal out of this so that you don't realize that we're still not
right,
doing anything about guns. We're still
right,
not doing
exactly.
anything. Yeah, like they don't want the important things like guns and the economy and
Health
the
care.
debt ceiling and all that kind of shit that they're screwing with to
Mm,
be front and center because we're going to be rolling into an election year pretty soon.
right,
So
right.
they're all about the distraction of the shiny
Hard
thing.
to believe how fast time flies. There's
Yeah,
another election coming up. Oh
yeah,
my
and
God.
I feel like it's going to be a repeat showdown because
Yeah,
I don't see any good. I don't see any worthy Democrats stepping up to run, and I feel like it's just going to fall on Biden's shoulders. And me personally, I feel like he's a little bit too old now to be going through this,
yeah, I
but I
agree.
don't see any of the whippersnappers stepping up, and I
Hmm.
feel like the ones that did run, back then in the last election, like Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar, and the ones that I did like, I feel like they got so they dropped out, and I don't feel like they're ready to do that again. Like I don't
Hmm.
feel like they're ready to do it again. It was a bit of a burn. They
Yeah,
had so much momentum, and then it was just like boom, boom, boom. They all just fell
right.
off.
Yeah,
So I
right,
don't
right.
know who could step up, that can do it. So it's gonna be ugly again.
Yeah, yeah, again.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't even I uh, Pride canceled, the Pride Parade canceled
Yeah,
in Compass canceled theirs. Pride Equality canceled theirs, and they canceled their Twitter. I mean, it's just a mess in Florida right now. It's an
and
absolute
I
mess.
can't even believe this day and age that that's it's a problem. It's a focus. I can't even believe that.
How far backwards are we gonna go?
Yes,
That's what
I,
I'm scared of.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Like Gemma was just saying, if they don't if they don't do something about the governor in Florida, my trips are gonna be limited. She's like, I know you have to go. She's like, but I don't feel safe. I
Yeah,
don't feel safe, And I'm like, hey, I'm just sitting in my mother's home. So
right,
yeah,
right.
but no, I
Yeah,
get it. I think, especially if you're not from there or you're not from America, what the way other people look at America is like a meltdown, like it's having a meltdown. And
yeah. It's a
it's
shame.
like the Wild West,
Yeah, it's
and they see it as unfixable, I think was the term I heard.
wow.
And I was like, that's sad. Like they're talking about my country. Like, that's not
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, that is sad. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad. It is.
Yeah. We have to do so. I feel like maybe June we can rustle up some of our trans friends and have them.
Let's do it. Yeah, maybe I'll invite my new buddy that I
It would be amazing.
intentionally. And yeah, I was thinking about it honestly to say, by the way,
Yeah.
would and
That
I'm going to speak with this comedian that we go see on Saturday.
would be amazing. Yeah.
I love the fact that she's older. I
I
love the
love that too.
probably at least 70. And it's funny because she's so funny. She talks about getting old and what it's like when you wake up and everything hurts and whatever. Like she's just
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
funny show. Yeah.
That should be
So,
great.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to that. That's a good start.
I got the VIP so I could go talk to her.
I love that. No shame in your game.
Oh,
Perfect. All right, well, you know what? This has been a good little catch up. I feel like we needed it. We've covered a lot of ground and we've got a lot
Yes,
more coming up. So yay
yes,
us.
yes.
Onward and upward.
I will see you next week.
Yeah, I remember we've got two in a row, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yes, and I'll talk to you
Yay.
before
Yeah,
that. All right.
definitely. Okay. Good seeing you. Good luck with the sofa. Send me
Reach out
pictures.
next time. Yeah.
All right, talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Why do you always run back
Like never stop chasing your dreams.
the lover you once knew?
Yeah,
Addicted to
see?
her touch,
See?
that's true. And I
We drank
confess,
way too much whiskey.
my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive.